Great question, and it gives me a chance to plug my new institute that I've been helping set up in the last 2 years, which is the Quincy Institute. We're the only think tank, transpartisan think tank, at least in Washington, that explicitly are pursuing a different grand strategy, and we are questioning what is otherwise known as liberal hegemony or primacy. We are favoring a strategy that otherwise is known as restraint. We call it responsible statecraft. Some of the leading figures of it are in your town, Steve Walt, Barry Posen, which essentially means that the United States does not need, for its security, to dominate these different parts of the globe. In most of these different parts of the globe, the United States does not have that interest. In the Middle East, we put out a paper. Our argument is, yes, it would be negative for the United States if someone else, a hostile power, retained hegemony there. There is no such candidate. All the United States needs to do is to have the ability to prevent a hostile power to have hegemony there. It does not need to have a hegemony of its own. So as a result, it does not need to have this massive military presence in the Middle East. We can actually be much safer by not pursuing primacy. Primacy actually has made us more unsafe, not just in terms of the manner in which it antagonizes countries and brings us into endless war, but also because it is putting our focus on all the wrong threats. We are experiencing a 9/11 in this country every 3 days as a result of the pandemic. $800 billion to the Pentagon a year has done nothing to protect us from something that already now is 100 times worse than 9/11 was. So our focus is on the wrong things, and where we do focus, we tend to make matters worse. So we need a fundamental review and rethinking of our foreign policy. Our hope is that the pandemic, combined with 20 years of endless war, will bring about enough political will to do so. And we are trying to create some of that political mobilization, that pressure on Congress, on the executive branch to pursue that. And we think groups like yours are going to be instrumental in helping and also helping driving this. Because I think part of the reason I moved from NIAC and helped set up QI is actually precisely the experience of the JCPOA, in which we worked 15 years to get that deal. But because that deal contradicted US grand strategy, US grand strategy of dominating does not in any way, shape, or form give space for the United States to make a compromise with a middle power like Iran. To have multilateral diplomacy that actually brings about a compromise is not really permitted within that paradigm. Having 50 more years of endless war in Afghanistan with no purpose is completely compatible with that grand strategy. The thinking there was that if the JCPOA, if it collapsed as a result of it being within a grand strategy that could not sustain it, that could not support it, then I did not have the energy to fight another 15 years and potentially winning another battle and then seeing it evaporate in front of our eyes within 2 years. We actually needed to change the grand strategy in order to turn the tables. Instead of having the war hawks always having the cards stacked in their favor, we need peace to be stacked in our favor. We need those who are pushing for these solutions to have a structure of US foreign policy that is biased in their favor rather than biased against them. And I think the momentum for having that type of a big shift is there. We have to capitalize on it.